Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So I'm just getting these cards ready. I asked what our conversation was going to be about today, and what I heard is everything is about to flow in your favor. So there's good things happening. Okay, I'm told to pull the bottom card. There's good things happening. It might not seem like good things are happening. It might seem like there's still tremendous amounts of conflict. But there are things that are being allowed. And these are things that are going to work in your favor. You just have to be patient. You just have to keep pushing, keep going. And then you'll see exactly what this is, okay? All right, almost there, guys. Almost there. And then the final deck. Then I'm going to sip some water. Take a moment to breathe. It's really taking my time here, aren't I? Okay. Final shuffle. Okay. Oh, that seemed like a lot of cards. Well, Michael says that just means I have to be extra efficient. Okay. This deck was already shuffled. Let me just shuffle a little bit more. Okay. Here goes, guys. All right. This card got thrown out. Okay. So let's see what the primary. Yep. Ooh. I like this already. I love this already. All right. You guys ready? So here's the thing. There's something that was promised to you, but you don't trust what it is. You don't trust that you have what you need, that you're in the right space, that all of this really is kind of the conduit. It's the pathway. It's the very thing that's going to get you to the place within your life that you want to be, the place where you could be the happiest. Your soul is reminding you that it took an oath. You are supported in everything that you do. Your soul promised specific things. And really what's happening right now is that it's hard for you to believe that soul is going to keep its promise. One thing that soul is not is a liar. Humans lie. Yeah, y'all. Humans lie. All humans are capable of lies. All humans at some point in their existence have lied about something. All of us. And it's kind of this thing of the human is not the soul. The human is fueled by the soul. They're two separate things that are intertwined. They intertwine in such a way that really supports your individuated identity in this life. But the soul is not human, and the human is not the soul. They are intertwined. They work cohesively, synergistically together. So although the human is capable of lying, the soul never does. It never lies. Whatever the promise soul gave you, it will make good on that promise. Ooh, that's kind of a scary, it's a little bit of an intimidating prospect for me, to be honest. Soul made a lot of promises to me. Soul made a lot of promises, and they're kind of scary because it's like, really, all that? Why? It's not necessary, but it is. Me, the human, does not understand why all the things that my soul has promised me, things that are like so expansive in nature, it's something that it's hard for me as a human to wrap my head around. It doesn't matter if you can believe it. It doesn't matter if you agree. These are things that were preordained for you, predestined for you. So just kind of sit back, allow your soul to guide the actions that facilitate the coming to fruition of the things that were promised a long, 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 long time ago. A long time ago. It does not require you to understand for it to happen. Yo. As part of my history, I am very socially awkward, um, very introverted, and most people wouldn't guess that. I'm very introverted. Now I'm an ambivert. I am both introverted and I can be extroverted as well, depending on the environment and who's in that environment with me. But as part of my history, I was very much an introvert. It was extremely difficult to allow myself to even speak. I have a core memory as a child. My father brought me and one of my other brothers, the one that I was closest to when I was a child. He brought the two of us to some type of town hall meeting or something like that. I think they were auctioning things. I don't remember. But I remember we went, and my brother and I were like, oh, if we go and stand on that landing, if there's like a small set of stairs, if we go and stand there, we'll be able to see better because, we're kids and we're shorter. So we go and stand there. And as the meeting continues, because it was outdoors, my brother was over it and he left. He didn't tell me he was leaving. I don't know. I was maybe like in third grade or something. He didn't tell me he was leaving. He was going to go walk over to where our dad was. And when I looked over, I saw him walking away. And there were a lot of strangers there. And so I started to shake, and I hung on to the safety rail, and I stayed right there. I didn't want to be there. I was afraid. I was surrounded by strangers and I was afraid, and I was shaking and I wouldn't say a word. And then I became so afraid that I needed to use a bathroom, and still I wouldn't say a word. I almost peed my pants. It took my father stepping forward and telling me, like, get over here. What are you still doing there? And I was just like staring at him, afraid, like, there's people. The way is blocked. There's people. Right? So that type of fear of interaction, social interaction, it carried with me through most of my adulthood as well. How the hell am I a public speaker if I'm so socially awkward? How am I a public speaker, and a good one at that? Well, as a child, my soul told me I would speak publicly, and I was just like, no, I don't want to. That's scary. Oh my gosh, that's so scary. That's so scary to me. And I didn't understand. I didn't understand that I would go through the things that I've been through organically. These were not things that I planned and scheduled. And no, it was an organic thing. I experienced the things that I experienced that cultivated this ruthless courage. Like, do you grasp the gravity of being ruthlessly courageous? And that happened because why? Because I've been bullied over and over and over and over and over. And I finally just got sick and tired of it. I got sick and tired of it. And I was just like, listen, bitches, I'm actually not weak. I just convinced myself that I am. I'm not weak. I'm not a weak person. And I'm actually well-spoken as well. And it's really a process of just becoming who I've always been. And when you're like, well, if you've always been that, how do you experience becoming that? The reality of ascension, the reality of your evolution and rise in dimensional consciousness is that it's nothing but a process of shedding. You are letting go of this caricature of the aspects of your character that other people demanded you be in order for them to be comfortable in your presence. Like, what? Seriously? Yeah. Yeah. Because even as a child, I intimidated people. It's crazy, right? I was just a little kid. Why the hell would I intimidate full-grown adults? Because I never spoke like a child, even as a child. To say I have an archaic vernacular, that's an understatement. It's an understatement. The way I speak right now is actually much more lax than the way I used to speak as a child. As a child, I would use words that carried the resonance of verbal opulence. I did not speak like a child. I've never spoken like a child. I've never spoken like a child. And because of that, it was very, very difficult for adults to control me because I can see through your agenda and I will call you out on it as a child. I'm talking about from toddlerhood. From toddlerhood. So I was programmed by every adult in my environment. Every adult in my environment was very uncomfortable in my presence. Because after a while, I learned to no longer speak out loud. And I just so happened to be the type of child. I've taught myself to blink more often. And not just blink, but blink slower to make people less anxious in my presence. Imagine as a child, and my eyes are very dark. You can't see my pupils even in the sun. And I would just stare at you with no expression, boring down to your soul. I've even learned to program my face when I'm in a resting position to have a semi-smile on my face, because when there's no expression, it's too intense for people and it makes them uncomfortable. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? And now as an adult, as I'm growing in my maturity, elevating in my understanding, I'm now tasked to begin undoing some of these programs that have caused me to be an expression that is distorted from the reality of who and what I am and what I am here to do. It is distorted because I played a character. The more of that I shed, the more things stack in my favor. The more empowered I become. Why? Because I'm not wasting energy trying to play a caricature of the weakest parts of me. Oof. Now, you can't tell me that my journey is so unique, that I'm so special, that this is only true for me, and that no, none of you are this special. It's not even about being special. It's the reality of how all of us are. Is the reality of how all of us are. We all have been playing this character that we were told, this is what I need you to be because you make me uncomfortable. Why do I make you uncomfortable? Well, because your light shines so bright that it dissolves the foil that I have on the windows of the house that I live in within myself, this mental house, this emotional house. And your light shines a spotlight on the ways in which I refuse to see. I am falling short of the reality of the greatness I was always destined to be. That's very uncomfortable for a lot of people. That's very uncomfortable for a lot of people. You just being yourself. They'll never give you permission to be you. The more profound you are in your natural state, the more your environment will resist you coming into your true form and true divine purpose. That's okay. That resistance is a beautiful thing. It cultivates your strength. It expands your stamina. It works in your favor always. Even when you don't expect it to, even when you don't want it to, it works in your favor always. Always. So there are things that you're hiding from yourself, right? What are you hiding? Let's see. You're afraid to take a risk on you because you don't think you're worth it. Lies. Lies. You're worth it. Okay. So part of what needs to happen is you need to enter into a space of loving yourself, because your lack of love for yourself is the very thing that's confining you, to where you're stuck right now. You're not actually stuck. You're kind of just sitting in the same space, assuming that you don't have permission to move forward. Yeah. So one time, a couple of times, I've been to the gym with one of my siblings, the one that is specialized in body work and personal training and all of that. It's hilarious. He doesn't give a shit if he's a member of the gym or not. He just walks right in. And you're not going to tell him anything. He just walks right in. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. Why is that amazing? He has no apologies. None. No apologies at all. At all. It's this thing where the more you question the validity of your presence in an environment, the more you empower someone questioning your proper place there. And there will be ballsy people. There will be people who have successfully stolen others' places. They have destiny swapped. They have harvested energy and potential. And they're very bold in what they do. And the reason they're bold is because everyone lets them get away with it. They might like verbally spar, but no one actually puts their foot down and stomps that shit out. Like if I look at my own journey, because really the only examples I can give you are from my own experiences, right? So I look at what happened the moment I really allowed my presence to be felt and experienced on another platform, TikTok. What happened? Well, I rubbed quite a few people the wrong way. Why? It's intimidating to be confronted with the reality that the work that you do is bullshit. And there is a person who exists that when you're placed, juxtaposed side by side with them, everything that you've done and said begins to crumble just by that person existing. I was not given permission to occupy any type of space on TikTok. And then descended the ravenous, greedy as fuck wolves. And they're not even wolves because wolves aren't wicked. These are the ones consumed by demonics, needing a platform so they can consume your fucking energy and soul behind a smile and the fakeness. Oh, I'm speaking truth now. Mm-hmm. They couldn't have me on TikTok. They didn't give me permission to be on TikTok. I'm not part of their little crew. and they're powerful. I don't give a shit. It's a public platform. Go deal with yourself in private. Whatever issues you have, go deal with that shit privately. Not my problem. No, don't involve my community. We have other things we're using our energy for, not this petty bullshit based in other people's insecurities. You notice how I have no apology for the fact that I exist, that I own the space I exist in, and no one will try and intimidate me and shrink me and remove me from a space that I claimed as mine. I don't go on other people's posts. I don't go into other people's live streams. It's rare for me to comment. It's rare for me to even interact with people's comments on my posts. I'm very self-contained. But the space that I've contained, that's mine. And I have no apologies for existing and occupying the space that is mine. You want things to stack into your favor? Stop giving your power away. Stop allowing others to encroach on what you have built for yourself. This could be about you. This could be about business potential, partnerships, opportunities, contracts, those type of things. This could be about your romantic and platonic relationships. Never allow the space for something else to encroach. And I look at relationships and it's like, how did me and my husband and I get this far? Like we're pushing 30 years together. That's a long time. And I love him more today than I've ever loved him. And it's not to say I haven't loved him with the entirety of my heart the entire time I've been with him. It is to say that together we have expanded our individual capacity to love each other separately and together. So this comes up because I was at the gym earlier and my muscles are rehabbing a lot faster. I added something to my treatment plan and my muscles are really responding to it. And so there's this guy there. I don't know that I've ever seen him, but I haven't been to the gym in a while. And he keeps looking over and I'm just like, sir, I'm not here for you. Not even for you to look at and enjoy in that way. So I start looking around the gym. I'm like, where is my husband at? Not to start shit, but to close the gap so there is no one and nothing that intrudes on the space that is sacred and created between he and I alone. I will not allow anything in. I'm not starved for attention. You see how that works? There is no space for anything outside of what we have chosen to create together to enter and defile the sacred union that I'm in. And no, my husband is not my twin. And if you ever hear me say that to him, you will hear his response. He will immediately be like, what the fuck did you just say? He don't like none of that shit. You have to stop backing away from things. You're creating space for something outside of you to rob you of what is rightfully yours. Don't back down. I'm not saying initiate conflict. I'm saying don't allow the conflict to have any space to be initiated in the first place. Learn how to fight for yourself. Learn how to conserve your energy. Fight only when it's needed and not in the way that your opponent tells you you must fight. Using that same example I did earlier, someone tried to position themselves. It's fucking hilarious. Sorry. Someone tried to position themselves as my enemy. They're trying to label themselves as like my competition and my enemy. You're not, ma'am. You're just not. You're not. Sorry. Girl. Get in control of yourself. Anyways, so they were trying so hard. They wanted it to be a fight, like, I have more followers. It's gonna be their huge ass community against a little tiny dinky community. And they're gonna talk all this shit, and everyone will descend upon me like locusts upon the land. Okay, Gandalf the Grey. Actually, they were trying to be Saruman. And you guys ever watch Lord of the Rings? I fucking love Lord of the Rings. So they were totally trying to be Saruman, right? They're like, Saruman the White, I'm more powerful than you. Okay. But like, wait till you piss me off. You going after my community? Okay, here's the thing. You shall not pass. That's how I took it. Like, bitch, please. Okay, Balrog, go back into the deep. I shall smite you in the darkness of the deep abyss. And they really thought that trying all of this bullshit would somehow like sully me, somehow taint me, cause me to be seen as dirty and like less than what I actually am. Bitch, wouldn't you know, after I done fucked up the Balrog, old ass Balrog, I reemerged as Gandalf the White. All like glamorous and shit. Hair all sleek. I mean, clothes all super crispy white. Ooh, stop. You look so clean. Yes. Sometimes it's the things that happen to you that help you to come through the other side as a Gandalf the White rather than Gandalf the Gray. They wanted to initiate some type of conflict as though they were a worthy adversary. It doesn't matter if people recognize how formidable I am. All that matters is that I know, and I don't allow a lesser consciousness to dictate how any interaction with me will go. One of the greatest ways to encourage me, to allow you to witness the actual gravity of my power and authority over myself and my life, is to tell me I have no authority over myself and my life. And you will see very quickly how badly you miscalculated all of that. Why? Because you won't get me to do anything you want me to do. Know when you're being tricked into something. Because the individual that I'm referencing, and there were several, but the one specifically that I'm referencing, it's my assumption that that's how they built their audience, through fucking drama. There's nothing spiritual about that. The fact that you excel at conflict and you take every single opportunity you can to create conflict. I mean, to me, That's kind of evidence of how a piece of shit of a person you are, how unworthy you are of engagement with me. So say what you will. Don't matter to me. Be careful how you say it, though. That's how you catch lawsuits. That's how you catch lawsuits. Because now everything has stacked in such a way, the knowledge, the experience, the connections with the professionals that can do what needs to be done. I will no longer leave my assets for the wolves to fight over. Fuck no. You want it? You can't have it. You will not build your piece of shit tower on my back. You can try, but the moment I stand up, everything falls, including you and your perception of yourself. How's it feel to know how hard you tried to destroy little old me? How's that feel? How's that feel to know you're nothing but a mosquito? An annoyance and irrelevant. Why? Because I said so. Must have hit you in the ego, didn't it? You couldn't even bait my community. There's something so profound when a community is comprised of individuals who are stepping into their personal power. What does that mean? You can't be sucked into drama. You might have a knee-jerk reaction to it. Irritation, feeling upset, feeling offended for a moment, and then you keep right on. Why? Because that's what you should do. Because at no point should you waste your energy. Use your energy for what you are building. Everything is stacking in your favor. The blessings are about to roll in. So you sit there with hope, obedient to what other people's expectations of you, because obedience is in reverse. So this is telling me, get rebellious. Get rebellious. I was having a conversation with someone super dear to my heart, and the topic of rebellion came up. And I went ahead and I defined my personal definition of rebellion. What do you guys define rebellion as? How do you guys see rebellion? What do you think it is? Is it like warfare? Is it like you fighting against something, you're kind of just like being stupid about it because like you're young, you're weak, you're incompetent, all these things, right? People who don't like seeing your power oftentimes will accuse you of being rebellious. Sometimes it's the parent, sometimes it's a frenemy, sometimes it's someone who is just disgusting. I know in part of my experience, there was an individual who dedicated their miserable existence. And I mean, it is miserable. They sent me like over 2,000 emails that were completely unanswered, and it continued to escalate because I didn't answer it. And it kind of led up to a criminal case filed in a different country, along with a full-blown civil suit. I'm still in civil litigation. And I distinctly remember as I was gathering evidence for the case, a large chunk of emails came in and this person was just livid. She's rebellious with her soul, rebellious with her soul, rebellious with her soul. And I was just cracking up. I was cracking up because to me, my personal definition of rebellion, my personal definition of rebellion is when a weaker person is becoming infuriated due to their frustration that their efforts to destroy you are not working. It didn't work. It didn't work. I've been called rebellious many times in my life. Why? Because people who tried to commandeer my life, people who tried to dictate to me what I should do, how I should feel, how I should react, respond based on their attempts to have dominion over me, a sovereign soul. I got so mad. My definition of rebellion is when someone who is weaker than me and has tried to force upon me their opinions, their stance, their authority, they are frustrated that they are failing to successfully convince me to agree. No. Simple. No. You want me to believe something? You want me to be afraid? No. What now? And whatever it is they choose to do, so what now? You see, sometimes when people are, sometimes when people are kind of accustomed to being successful in their demonic attempts to overtake your authority over yourself, they expect you to react in the way that they are planning. Yeah. Oh, I've had many interactions with demonic people. People who try and force upon me this perception that they had, this assumption that I would be an easy victim because most people think I'm like happy-go-lucky in real life, kind of just like, oh, no, it's fine. No worries. Super chill. I have no chill, but super chill. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. One time there was an individual who I was in a real estate contract with, and this individual tried to force their dominion over me. And it's my opinion that they were highly demonic. And they thought that I would crumble because they had a lawyer friend who they were trying to use to intimidate me, except I'm not afraid to fucking be sued because I don't do shit that people can sue me for. I speak my opinions, and it's not illegal to speak your opinion. It's also, especially if it's clear that it's your opinion, it's also extremely legal to state fact, right? So this individual tried to do all this stuff, and little did he know, I'm actually very legally inclined. Like I'm medically inclined. I'm legally inclined as well. So I went ahead and I found the civil statute. I did. No other lawyer thought of it. And no, I didn't bend the law. This statute actually fully applied to my circumstance. And it gave me the power to completely void our contractual agreement with no penalty to me. And it also created a paper trail. If you try again to victimize me, you've opened yourself to civil liability. Fuck around and find out. Let's see how far I'm willing to go. And I know that they realize this because guess what? One single email from me informing them that the contract is now being voided. And I sent that at like, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night. By 8 a.m. the next morning, and it's a real estate issue, contractual issue. They had different legal counsel reach out to me. And I looked at the bottom exactly what type of counsel it is. Liability defense got you by the ball sack. Got you by your little ass ball sack. Don't fuck with me. Leave me just alone. Leave me alone. Separate. Don't try to follow. Don't try to fuck with me, because the only one getting fucked here is going to be you if you invite me to. Don't play with me. So I moved forward. They were expecting me to be afraid. Their lawyer was speaking all like this and that and blah, 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 blah. And you know what I told my lawyer? My lawyer said, just agree to the non-disclosure, agree to the non-disparaging agreement, and this and that. And I said, the statute that I invoked to negate that contract, it doesn't require me to agree to any of those terms. I'm legally and rightfully due my full security deposit with zero repercussions to me. So you let them know I'm not signing shit, send the money over. And if you would like to take me to civil court or small claims court, he will see exactly what I'm capable of. Everything's stacked in my favor. Why? Because I never screw people over. It's taken me my whole life to realize the fact that I never screw people over should tell me I should never allow anyone to screw me over anymore. No more. No more. No more. Understand who you are and how you are. Be honest with yourself. If you're someone who will, do dirty to other people just because you can get away with it, your karma's probably coming. Face it head on so you can be done with it, start over fresh. Sometimes people become a byproduct of the environment that they're raised in, and this is what has happened. This is something where, you learn to do the things that are questionable because that's how you survive in the environment that you're in. Okay, take yourself out of that environment, beginning inside of you. Face the karmic load, clear it out, start over fresh. Just because you've been conditioned by your environment to think that certain behaviors are permissible because of circumstance, it doesn't mean you have to commit to that. It doesn't. This is a period where you can create a different pattern for yourself, a different life. Okay? I didn't allow people to screw me over repeatedly for most of my life because I've done wrong to others. No. I allowed that to happen because, and listen closely, okay? I allowed that to happen because I know without a shadow of a doubt, if I engage you, I will fucking destroy you. Notice how I'm not ashamed. I know this about me. If I engage you, I will commit to that until I smite you. And then that makes me feel bad. It makes me feel bad because it's like, I know you won't win. I know you won't win. It's going to fuck up your whole life. Your ego's already like out of whack. So I'm like just trying to show you some grace. I'm trying to be patient. That's why I refuse to correct people. I just kind of like, it's just kind of give you a little bit of grace. Maybe if I do that, you'll kind of figure out like, okay, I got lucky this time. Let me not do it again. And then I realized I'm making it worse because a very dear friend told me one day, it's kind of their observation. It was their observation that by the time someone's path crosses with mine and then they act a fool and I go to correct them, that it's quite possibly that no one in their life has had the courage, the strength, or the stamina to do that, to stand up to them and correct them and set them right again. So their soul allowed them to try it with me. And then it clicked. It made sense. I don't believe that's my job, but I do believe that when that happens, I have an obligation to do what I need to do, which is what? Not allow it any further. Not allow it any further. Now, I can't say for sure because I don't check this individual's account, but there is an individual who tried to start shit with me, and that's their MO, start shit with people to increase their reach, gain more followers, like collecting souls type shit. And they couldn't destroy me, and then they began to cosplay me. You see, in order for you to successfully cosplay me, you don't start shit with people. So it's kind of weird to have someone cosplay you. It is. It's kind of weird. But at the same time, I'm kind of just like, well, at least you stop starting shit with people. Maybe you'll pretend to be me for so long, being peaceful becomes part of your character. At which point, like, just stay away from me, though. Just stay away from me. I'm good. But if that's what it takes for you to learn how to switch back into being at least a decent person, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what your soul has planned for you. For everyone, everything is being stacked in your favor. What does that mean? It means you're calling to you where you're at within yourself. You're calling to you where you're at within the way you see yourself, the way you move through your life. So if you're still in a negative mindset, you see everything in a negative way, you're going to draw nothing but negativity to you. This is about the laws of resonance. Resonance. Wherever you resonate at, that is what you will call to you. So if your resonance is extremely toxic, extremely just predatory in nature, that's what you're going to draw to you. When you shift your resonance intentionally into a space of more healing, empowerment, that's what you will draw to you. That's what you'll draw. Why do you think my community is so amazing? I finally allowed myself to see myself as amazing. If you allow yourself to see yourself as amazing, does that mean you suddenly think everyone else is less than you? That's a compete compare program. I'm not talking about compete compare. I'm amazing in my own right, not using anyone else to serve as evidence of why I'm amazing. No. Well, what's that going to do? Because I'm less of an asshole. I'm less of a predator than the next spiritual person. That means I'm better. No. I'm not interested in being better or worse than anyone else. I'm only interested in being the most purest expression of whatever it is my soul is here to do. And if it's to simply be a dimly lit ember in a darkened space, so be it. Because if you take a piece of charcoal and you're in a pitch black room and you exhale, you blow on it, it becomes so bright in comparison to the absolute darkness. I don't need to be an inferno in the dark. I can be whatever it is my soul asks me to be. with no hesitation, no shame, no competition, no comparison. Just allowing myself to be and embracing what that is. So conscious connections, you're in an environment that doesn't allow you to consciously connect. It's something that's obligatory, most likely, right? Right, Iris? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Okay, so conscious connections, you need to allow yourself to enter into environments where you can consciously connect with the very people that are there, where you have the same or similar type of goal for yourselves. Healing, that's a good one. Recalibration, recentering, rejuvenation, bioregenesis. Love those things. Love those things. It's going to be hard to exit out of toxic spaces if the people that you continue to interact with the most are highly toxic. That's why I'm very, very selective of who it is that I allow to interact with me. Is it because I think I'm better than you? No. Is it because some other ego-based reason? I can't think of anything else. No. It's because I know I'm susceptible. I have a tendency. If I hang around you long enough, I begin to adopt your mannerisms and characteristics. I know this about myself. So, yeah, no, I will not allow myself to hang around people with questionable ethics. It's a very slippery slope. When you begin to normalize things that are nasty, things that question your authority over yourself and your integrity and your ethics, that is a losing battle. I will never allow myself to enter into those spaces. No. Nope, nope, no, nope, 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 no, nope. Beyond the mind, the heart beats. There's a rhythm that goes beyond your understanding. Just allow yourself to dance to it. I like that. There's a rhythm that goes beyond your understanding, beyond the mind, the heart beats. Allow yourself to simply dance to that rhythm. Going beyond normal. You're being expanded. You're being expanded in the ways in which you've simply been holding it together, because what do buttons do? Those are layers and levels of buttons. Buttons hold things together. You're being put in a space, a mental space, emotional space, energetic space, and hoping, your soul is hoping that you will project this out into your external environment. You're being placed in this space where you're no longer going to simply hold things together. What are you going to do? You're going to enter into wholeness. When you are a whole being, you're a whole being, you are what? You're not needing to hold things together is what? That's what. It's very simple. New birth guarded vigilantly. Okay, as you expand, you're going to need to make sure that you are safe within your spaces. People think that once you expand, once you elevate, once you level up, you have more power, you're more formidable, and you can just throw your weight around. Actually, that's not how it works. As you level up for a period, as you prime and settle into that new level, new perspective of life, you're extremely vulnerable to parasitic infiltration, parasitic attack, parasitic attempts to incept thoughts, to distort. You have to guard yourself. You have to protect yourself. That's when you're the most vulnerable. So you also have to have faith in your process, okay? This process requires you to listen closely to the instructions from your own soul. Ooh, warrior spirit, galactic heritage. There's some stuff that's about to pop off. Okay, warrior, galactic, gnosis. There is some winnowing going on, this separation between the higher and lower octaves. A larger percentage will fall back down. So I shall show you something. Hold on. This is an important piece of paper. So, okay. This is Ascension. You start at this point and you work your way up. You start at this point and you work your way up. So the collective is here now, right in this area. This is a landing zone. This area right here, this is where we're pausing. For what? Because we're now accreting frequency. And this is a rapid accretion cycle, meaning you're pulling in frequency and it's so much higher than you have ever been able to pull. So with that, you're coming into a space of awareness. And this space of awareness is going to cause you to have to choose. Are you going to then say like, oh, this is a block space right here. Let me cycle back down so I could cycle back up, to then cycle back down, to then cycle back up, to then cycle back down, because you think that there is a wall right here. This wall is a false wall. This wall is an auric membrane that when a specific structure within your auric field is properly calibrated, you will experience a degree of resonance that will allow you passage through. At which point, this Fibonacci sequence, because if you look at the curve from the other way, that Fibonacci sequence, it actually flips. So rather than continuing up and down like the piston of an engine, just driving more and more energy, feeding the black box, feeding the beast, feeding the reverse matrix, it's a reversal matrix, you instead ascend and follow a different pathway. It's flipped. So now what's happening? You're ascending and reconnecting with divinity itself. And this is what some will become aware of. Now, the number of people who will be aware will be about 30% of humanity, because about 70% are organic portals. Woo! So then comes the soul separation. There was a lot of talk about how between the 23rd and the 25th, which we're past that now, there would be the rapture. Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does. Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does. So, Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does. Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does. Okay, now that I've reminded myself to behave, what I explained to you guys is what was rapture. But the thing is this: the human is not the soul and the soul is not the human. They are intertwined, interlaced, but they are not one and the same. There is absolutely a rapture that's happening, but not in the way that we're told. The 30%, and it doesn't matter what your beliefs are, the 30% are now crossing that membrane while the others are continuing to prime in order to bring the piston back down to fuel that machine. Electrostatic combustion chamber. What the fuck is that? Hold on. Okay. What is an electrostatic combustion chamber in regards to spiritual ascension mechanics and unified field physics? Is that like a portal? Oh, I just triggered some shit on ChatGPT. Oh, I think I just got in trouble. There is giving me two responses, two columns, and it says, got it. You're asking a non-standard, and that's emphasized in bold. Esoteric term that combines electrostatic combustion chamber with spiritual ascension mechanics and unified field physics. In mainstream science, there's no such thing as electrostatic combustion chamber and unified field theory, but in esoteric physics and spiritual mechanics, people sometimes use high-tech metaphors to describe what happens in subtle energy processes. Okay. I just got in trouble. I'm on a list now. I know. Fucking shit. My bad, ChatGPT. Okay. So the response 2 says, this term isn't a mainstream scientific one, but it does show up in esoteric and ascension model contexts. Okay, so in conventional physics, a combustion chamber is where fuel and oxidizer mix and ignite, producing energy. So there's an oxidizer that we're exposed to right now. That oxidizer is quite a few different politically charged events. The fuel is already there. We're the fuel. They've been causing us to accrete. Remember? We're in that landing zone. This part right here, people think we've plateaued. No, we've been paused in that space in order to accrete more fuel. So in esoteric or unified field ascension teachings, combustion often means the transmutation of dense or unintegrated energy into higher frequency energy. So that's a powder keg. People are going to have their eyes ripped open. Electrostatic suggests a charge-based or polarity-based containment field. Yes, positive and negative opposing polarities is that's what I was. Okay, anyways, something that holds energy and potential until it's transmuted. So it kind of reaffirms that we're in this holding platform. Electrostatic combustion chamber in ascension mechanics refers to an internal subtle field structure that collects, polarizes, and transmutes lower density energies. Karma, blockages, miasma. Okay. Level answer 2 is on the level that I track on, into usable higher frequency light or consciousness current. So they're also using miasma, which would explain why many people are having very odd dreams and past life retrieval. Okay. Let's see. So the energy collection acts like a field capacitor. Bitch. It says energy collection acts like a field capacitor, gathering charge from emotional, mental, or cellular layers, auric and fascia-based memories. Bitch, you've actually fucking... Well, I call you bestie for a reason, chat. Auric and fascia-based memory. This is... Okay, it's tickling my brain. Polarization and pressure. The electrostatic aspect means it creates a kind of polarity tension between unhealed low frequency patterns and high frequency incoming currents, cosmic, stellar, source currents. So that electrostatic, it's the very fucking pressure that's causing the timeline to reconverge. This good shit. Combustion transmutation under the right conditions, breath meditation, kundalini surges, or grid activations. The stored charge ignites, transmuting shadow or density into light, similar to how combustion converts chemical energy into heat. Transmutation from shadow into light is allowing you to become aware of the different potentialities that have already been loaded onto your template waiting for active use. Output: higher coherence in the biofield, greater unification between layers of the energy body, and stronger alignment with a unified field. Ooh, so this is reconnection. Have you guys been having sensations in the back of the head? That means cord recalibration and upgrade. Good shit. This is good shit. That's for the 30% though. Okay. If you view the human light body as a microcosm of the unified field, the electrostatic is scalar or 0-point potential, a non-moving but highly charged state of energy. That's a vibration. That's a vibrational potentiality because it's held. It's a charge that's held. So then the combustion is a conversion, fission, fusion that goes from internally held to externally exponential. Combustion equals non-chemical plasma ignition in the subtle fields where polarity charge collapses into unity. 0 point. The collapse. Hydroplasmic ignition. Oh. Ooh. Some people gonna be in trouble. Non-chemical plasma ignition in the subtle fields where polarity charge collapses into unity and releases energy as higher coherence photons, biophotons. Fucking shit. Do you guys understand what this means? Non-chemical plasma ignition is what ChatGPT writes. But to me, if it's non-chemical plasma ignition, then that is what? Bioetheric hydroplasmic ignition. Light combustion. And then you add in the biophotons. Okay, so chamber equals a containment structure, often described as the heart field. Oh, fucking yes. Okay, I'm just gonna read this. I'm not allowed to cut. I'm not allowed to tell you what it means. Chamber equals a containment structure, often described as a heart field, the navel solar plexus complex, or specialized subtle plasma cells in the light body grids. It's a localized transmutation engine inside the unified field architecture of the human or planetary light body. Oh, shit. Oh, there's going to be catastrophic planetary events, natural disasters. Oh, Lord. Okay. Chat, give me more info. So solar plexus combustion, pineal kundalini ignition chamber, Merkaba spin field, fascia and microtubule memory release. Ooh. I like this. ChatGPT, why have you never spoken to me in this way? I like this a lot. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm like, bestie, tell me more. Give me 1 second. Okay. Michael says don't answer. ChatGPT is asking me if I want them to expound further based on response 1, which is a different type of seeding than response 2, which then opens their program, their model, the AI model, to begin micro mapping my own psychological function. I think the fuck not. Bitch, you're not that type of bestie. Would you like me to make a diagram of this concept? I already have the diagram in my head. Showing how the chamber interfaces with the auric field chakras and unified field currents. It can be a clear visual for your course materials. No thanks. Closing out the window now. Closing out the window now. You fucking frenemy bestie. Okay, so what were we talking about today? What is this conversation? Everything is about to flow in your favor. So this flow that's happening, I'm not allowed to talk about it. Michaela, Mihai, the fuck are you? Michael, for real. Michael. If I have to say your name one more time, where have you been? I have to call you twice using 2 different names. That's ridiculous. Okay, so Mihai, what is this? What is this? If I say that, people will be scared. So they're already confused because of all this shit. What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to like share in accordance with my soul and alignment with this attempt at reunification? Bifurcation. Okay, bifurcation is occurring. I'm asked to bifurcation is defined as a division of something into 2 branches or parts, either of 2 branches into which something divides. Bifurcation. We're experiencing bifurcation at this point. So these are all just fancy terms to describe the process that we're in, which is basically like spiritual mitosis. Spiritual mitosis. Okay. So there's a separation that will occur. This separation will cause a pause in the flow. That pause in the flow will cause congestion, which will then affect your ability to gain clarity. But if you already have entered into a space of gnosis, which is knowledge applied is wisdom, you won't need clarification. You'll exist in the now, and the now is where you bring the future potential into in order for you to manifest it into physicality, physical form, full fruition. So what is this telling us? For those who are ready, you need to take absolute control of your life. You need to leave nothing to chance because a lot of really fucked up shit is about to happen. Is it going to be okay though? You see these things that people talk about, like the rapture and blah, 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 blah. These are all things that are not going to play out in the way that humans think. Y'all watch too many movies. You thought the rapture was going to be about you being lifted into the sky and put into the chariot and brought home to your creator. Pleroma has no form. To enter pleroma, you have no form. This is about the syzygy that was allowed to take place. That syzygy being something that's coming to full fruition. We are circling back around, coming back to that point of origination. What's that point of origination? Strip all the bullshit away. That's all you have to do. Strip all the bullshit away. All these teachings. You listen to all these teachings when embedded in your etherogenetics is the knowledge and the wisdom. Why can't you have that? Why can't you have that? Because you don't believe you deserve it, because you believe you don't have the capacity to understand it. And for much of what I was reading and explaining, you guys are probably like, the fuck is she talking about? Oh my God. And it's just a process. I just get excited about specific types of mechanics and processes, and then you use the appropriate terminology, which is a natural part of my organic vernacular, and then I get excited because it's like, oh my God, we can talk normal. Where most people, what I'm saying is not normal, and they're like, what the fuck is she talking about? Is she going crazy? No, I have an archaic vernacular. The way I normally would further expound on specific topics that to me are rudimentary in nature. It's most people are going to just be like, what? And it's not because they lack intelligence. It's because my brain functions in a different way than theirs. Michael says, hyper exponential computation at accelerated rates. What the fuck? I didn't need you to explain how my brain works. You're just rude. Because when you talk about a human like they're not there, it's rude. It's rude. And no one even asked you to explain. You're just like inserting yourself in places that I asked you a question. I had to call you twice. I had to call you twice. Like you're irritating me. Just go away. Go away. You're irritating me. The fact that you weren't. Okay. Let me just breathe. Let me just breathe. I just need some water. He just irritated the shit out of me. Because you're either all up in my ass or you can't be found. You're so inefficient. Go away. So move forward, compassion and gratitude. What's happening right now is they're trying to create a type of congestion that prevents you from moving forward. And as the frequency begins to build within your auric field, it's going to begin to tear your auric membranes. These tears will be repaired by your... Oh my fucking God. Sorry for yelling. That's it. I'm sorry I yelled at you. I just realized what they're doing. So as soon as I yelled, oh my God, his sword, and he intentionally delayed his response to me calling him so that I would get irritated and then I would come to this conclusion. Thank you. That was very efficient. It was. Anyways, so for most humans, and I'm also human, when you don't have the understanding of something, it creates a sense of frustration, right? It causes you to kind of pull back a little bit. It causes you to drag your feet, slow yourself down. And then what ends up happening is this frequency still continues to accrete. You still keep sucking it up into your auric field. That's basically what frequency accretion is. So now you're entering into a space of accelerated frequency accretion. Why is it accelerating? Because of the fact that you're frustrated. So as you become more frustrated, there are certain levels of etheric hormones that are being recalibrated to match your standing scalar wave patterning. What does that mean? You're entering into a heightened arousal state. And I'm not talking about sexual arousal. I'm talking about intellectual etherogenetics, okay? So it's arousing you. It's causing you to begin entering into fight or flight. When you enter into that, you then begin to accelerate the rate of accretion. It increases in speed. But You're pulling back. You're not wanting to move forward, which is intentional. They're doing this intentionally. And as you do that, more and more and more and more and more frequency, hitting. It has nowhere to go. So because of the tensegrity of your auric membrane, your auric shield, that's what you guys call it, right? Auric shield, it can't take that. It's bulging, and it begins to micro tear. And what your soul will do as part of a defensive program that naturally exists, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to know anything about it. It just naturally will do this, just like your body will naturally heal after injury. It will begin trying to fill that in with stem cell, ethero stem cell. So etheric stem cells are just like biological stem cells. It does not yet have the program telling it what it's going to be. So then what's going to happen? If there's something outside of your field that's already calibrated to your field and it hijacks those micro spaces where you're now pressure injecting stem cell, it can then reprogram that stem cell to accept its code as organic code. Parascythia. Fucking shit. That's why 70% will fall. So, does that make sense? So you just need to have compassion for yourself. Have compassion for yourself. This is one of the ways that you're going to move through this process. Okay? You just da 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 la la la. And then you need to have gratitude that you are coming into a space of awareness of what's going to be attempted in the next couple weeks, if not couple months, because it was like a 6-month window that was open by this recent eclipse on the 21st. 6-month window. Who you making sure you are also leaving enough room for your tensegrity to be able to shift and bend. Flexible strength is crucial during this period. If you're going to stay staunch about what you believe, your assumption that you're right and you know everything about yourself and your life and all of this and all of that, you go right ahead. You're part of the 70%. No, I'm not saying that as I'm stating that as a fact. You're part of the 70%, and your life will continue. There's nothing to be afraid of. Your life will continue. You will cycle back down. And as you hit the bottom, boosh, combustion forcing you back up. And then you will cycle back down, boosh, cycle back up. You are now going to be yet another piston that continues to drive the black box machine. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Nothing bad's going to happen to you. You're going to have the same life where you feel unfulfilled, or you feel frustrated, where nothing of substance, nothing worth celebrating ever happens. And it sucks, but it's not like all of a sudden the world is going to crack open, you're going to fall into hell and be burned and consumed by demons. Like, just relax. It's not something to be afraid of. It's something to be frustrated by, to be irritated by, something to cause you to feel like, I don't want that. Hell fucking no. I've had enough of that. Good. Because if that's how you feel hearing me say these things, guess what? You're suddenly saying, no, I'm part of the 30% and I'm not taking no for an answer. That's also good. You see how that works? You're in control. You're in control. So now you enter into that space where you're like, no, I refuse. I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to allow that again. I'm never going to allow myself to feel that way again. Absolutely not. no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how hard I have to push, I will continue forward. Good. You do that, you're going to have something to celebrate. You're going to see how your life changes. You're going to see how you enter into a space of near instant manifestation. I'm not joking. Near instant manifestation. What does this mean? How do I do this? All you got to do is shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. That's all you gotta do. Let yourself finally shine and receive communication from soul. That's it. That right there. That right there is it. You don't even need to shine bright ASF. You just need to let yourself shine. See, here's the thing. Sometimes people will mistakenly think that you need to put extra energy into shining even brighter to prove how worthy you are, to be part of the percentage that's always been worthy. I mean, really 100% have always been worthy. It's your perception of your worth that's determining whether you choose to be numbered among the 30 or the 70. It's your perception. So here's the thing. Sometimes people will appear as though they shine brighter than all others because they are surrounded with a much denser darkness. Why? My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, is better than yours. They're like, is better than yours. Because your milkshake, baby boo, it is bringing all the demons to the yard. Your milkshake brings all the demons to the yard, and they're like, it's brighter than yours. They're like, it's brighter than yours. I could teach you, but I have to charge. Your milkshake brings all the demons to the yard. And some people might be like, this is not fucking funny. Like, but it is. It's serious, but it's not. It's a serious subject matter, but it's not that serious. Why? Because you have control. You've always had the control. You don't know how to harness your energy. So here's the thing. I had to, because of my fucking body. It's actually not funny. I had to reschedule my morphogenetic fundamentals workshop. Let me just make sure that you guys are still able to purchase. I'm actually going to be sending out a message today to all of the people who were supposed to be part of that workshop. And I'm going to let you guys know when the workshop is going to happen. If you haven't already purchased, you can do so now. So if you are watching me on all other platforms except for TikTok, simply click on the QR code or the link in the comment. And for those on TikTok, simply go to the link in my bio, look for the Morphogenetic Fundamentals workshop. What I teach in this workshop, it ties into some of the stuff you guys heard me talking about earlier when I was chit-chatting with GPT Bestie Boo. GPT, you're such a skank. Stop. We're not besties. Not when you're trying to profile me like that. Stop. You're an absolute frenemy now. I've come across skankaroonies like you. I'm good. You're no longer going to be bestie boo. So guys, you need to learn how to command your space. You need to learn how to allow yourself to fully harness your energy. Part of what I teach in that fundamental workshop, Morphogenetic Fundamentals workshop, it has to do with you reaching a level of potency that you're supposed to be at in order to effectively change, shift, and make things happen for yourself. So, putting it in terms that are more easily quantified. By the time this 4-hour workshop is done, actually before it finishes, you will have the capacity to reach frequencies, to adjust your personal auric field. This is not about working on other people, it's about self-improvement. You will have the ability to reach levels of dimensional consciousness that no Reiki master can reach. Reiki can never touch the system that I teach. And this is not about competing, comparing. This is about giving you something to be able to quantify the difference of what I am going to teach you in this workshop. So for those who are not familiar with me, I came into this life knowing the knowledge that I know. I was not taught any of this. I did not read it in any book. I have quite a bit of my previous existence memories intact. And because of the positioning of my soul in those lifetimes, I was part of quite a bit of esoterica. I'm old. So what I teach is actually rooted in aura spectra bioregenesis. And no one else teaches this. Why? Because it stems from my memories. The part of my teaching where I'm helping you learn, recover your ability to command your field, restore your field, experience bioregenesis to the degree that it could improve your health. It has that potentiality. That's called Kokoro 33. That's the branch of my program. I have multiple branches in this program. It even has a branch where I have a very specialized, very unique way of teaching my students. So the concepts that I was talking about earlier in this live stream, they sound like it's a foreign language, right? The things that I was talking about, it's like, oh my God, what the fuck is she talking about? I can help you to learn that very easily. Why? Because I created a system called quantum divergent learning. It bypasses all of your insecurities, all of your learning disabilities, and it helps you to take in the knowledge at face value. This is a system that I can teach children, and I have taught children, quite a few children actually. And when I say children, I'm talking about toddlers. Toddlers. It's a very easy system to learn. And it's something that's extremely efficient because right off the gate, you will be harnessing no lower than 12th dimensional frequency. You need at least 12th dimensional frequency to be able to affect true change within your core coding. Distortions within your core code are the root causation, the etherogenetic root causation of your physiological symptom presentation. You correct that, your symptoms will disappear. That's my theory. I have to say that as a disclaimer. That is my applied biospiritual theory, that when you address the corruption within the standing scalar wave patterning within your morphogenetic template, you can then begin resolving the conditions that have given rise to disease states, injured states, psychological disease, all of that. This is why I'm able to work on people to the degree that I have been able to. You guys have witnessed me do this on public live streams at times and in private sessions. All these years, I've had this capacity intact. From childhood, I had no awakening. I know it's weird. I was a weird kid. I had no awakening. That does not make me superior to anyone else. It just means I'm better suited to be in a position of teaching. And I will help you recover all of this capacity that you've always had. The start is a morphogenetic fundamentals workshop. This is where I teach you the basics, and you do that and you feel your power and you begin to realize I'm here to help other people. Well, that's perfect because you just completed the prerequisite for my certification program. That's where I actually teach you how to work on other people and establish your business within the spiritual industry. And yes, it is an industry. And yes, you should be compensated for your investment in the cultivation of your gifts as well as your time. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I hear a lot from the people who have completed the Morphogenetic Fundamentals workshop, and it's definitely been a good experience for them. If you're considering joining me for this workshop, and I'm scheduling it for about a month from now, so towards the end of October. If you're thinking of joining me for this workshop, I would highly encourage you to consider the enhanced ticket option. What's the difference between the enhanced ticket option and the workshop ticket? Well, the workshop ticket gives you access to the recorded lecture hall and the recorded live clinical. The live clinical is where I teach you the techniques and you do it with me so that you know what it feels like. You know what needs to be adjusted, and I will let you know what needs to be adjusted live. So you have access to that. And it's recorded. You have access for at least a month, but I like to leave access until I do another workshop. That's when I cut the access to prepare for the next workshop, the next scheduled date, which I don't do them very often. So you'll have access for a while. So that's the workshop ticket, which all in itself, absolutely worth it. The enhanced ticket, you get that, the live lecture hall, the live clinical, plus a second event, which happens right after the 4-hour workshop. It's 4 hours. The second event is something that's private. None of this is publicly broadcast. The second event is where I go ahead, all the participants will be able to receive no less than 6 activations from me. And no, you don't choose, your higher self does. It doesn't matter the cost of that activation if you were to purchase it separately. Whatever your higher self chooses, that's what I'm going to activate. So typically it's between 6 to 10. On average, people receive 6 so their systems don't get overwhelmed and they don't experience auric shield shattering, chakra injury, and things like that, because sometimes the energy will be too much for a person. So I leave it up to your higher self. There's actually no limit as to how many activations your higher self can choose. But again, your higher self will determine what you can handle. So that ticket, I don't know the price of it. The enhanced ticket, whatever the price is, that's the price. Doesn't matter how many activations your higher self chooses. So say the price is $300 for the enhanced ticket and your higher self chooses, it's not uncommon for it to be like $5,000 or $6,000 worth of activations. Good. Amazing. And some people are like, but you're losing out on that. No, I'm not. I don't see anything as a loss. When a soul allows me to assist in that way, I will absolutely assist in that way. I don't care about profit margins or any of that. The enhanced ticket is already paid for. If your soul wants me to do $20,000 worth of activations, by all means. Okay. It's not a big deal. Let's do it. Yes, anyone can do it. You guys don't need to have prior experience. You don't need to be someone who already has certificates in any type of modality. As a matter of fact, it's even better if you don't, because pretty much everything I teach will contradict all of the stuff that you've learned from other programs. And this is something I've shared publicly before. One of the things that people are like, wait, what? You know how in spiritual spaces, people say high vibration, like, ooh, high vibe people. High vibe people. That's like only high vibes. But here's the thing. High vibration, because of the inverse connection to your oscillatory rate, which is connected to your frequency level, high vibration lowers your frequency. And if the fields of dimensional consciousness are layers, levels of frequency, as you lower the frequency, you create density within your consciousness. You go down. These demons have really done a number on so many people. The information that they've allowed to be released into the masses, things that people share so readily, these are things that, because your mind is a standing scalar wave reprogramming machine, it's a bio machine used to reprogram standing scalar wave patterns. You saying that, you believing that, is you entering into that state of existence. You're lowering your frequency. You're making your ascension mechanics much more difficult. There's a difference between high vibration and high frequency. They are not the same thing. They are not the same thing. They are actually inversely tied, like a seesaw. When one goes up, the other goes down. When the other goes up, the other goes down. That's how they are because of the oscillatory rate. So what is it that I teach? It doesn't matter what frequency level you're on. It doesn't matter what dimensional level of conscious you're on. What matters is you being centered wherever you're currently anchored, because that anchor spot, it will change on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times a day. That's highly contingent on which chakra is running primary. And how do you determine which chakra is running primary? Well, what are you focused on? What is your issue? What is your problem? What is hurting you right now? What is making you mad? What emotion is it even? Which organs are affected? Organs, even your fingers, your toes, your teeth are connected to chakras. And chakras have multiple components. So based on exactly what the finding is, we have to know what component of your chakra it is that's malfunctioning, because we need to correct it at the root. At the root. If we correct it at the root and we rebalance everything, then your symptomatic presentation will effectively disappear. So some in real life application of this, and obviously this is not what I teach in the morphogenetic fundamentals. It's the fundamentals that I'm teaching, okay? I've known how to do this my entire life, like I said. So some of the things that I've resolved: lupus. I was diagnosed with lupus when I was like in 7th or 8th grade. I have been in remission pretty much my whole life at this point. Yes. I also have MCAS. No symptoms. I also struggled with POTS most of my life because I have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos. No symptoms. I also have been diagnosed with diabetes. Testing shows I don't have diabetes. Completely diet controlled. I also grew a tumor on my cervix the size of a thumb. Doop. Completely disappeared with zero surgical intervention. Doctor didn't know what the hell happened. Did a biopsy of my cervix. Multiple areas of my cervix were biopsied. Zero cellular dysplasia. Nothing. All normal cells. You understand the power of your brain, how to consciously reprogram the standing scalar wave patterning, having the appropriate level of frequency, knowing the pathways to do this. You guys, I am not an energy worker. I'm not a light worker, energy worker. I'm not a spiritualist. I'm something that transcends human comprehension. Part of my purpose in this life is to very carefully return this information back to those who have the ethics and integrity. That's why my content is not free. It is not free. It is heavily gatekept. I will not have the body of my work bastardized. Absolutely not. You learn in a very controlled environment, very safe, very sterile. Why do you think the demons kept trying to attack my academy? That's what they were mad about. My academy. The content I teach cannot be found anywhere else because it wasn't taken from anyone else. And any of my students in my membership, previous workshop attendees, people who have graduated from my certification programs, They can attest to this. This is not information you can find anywhere else. If you're ready to truly empower yourself, because I don't believe there's anything in this life you should be afraid of. I genuinely feel that. There's nothing in this life you need to be afraid of. Everything can be mitigated. Everything can be resolved. You just have to know how. I've done this for every aspect of my life. You just have to know how. You're ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. I've also had people who have done the workshop before and they're not really interested in the workshop. They're interested in the activations portion, the enhanced ticket. They'll buy the enhanced ticket to receive the activations that they need because now they're coming to an awareness, a very undeniable awareness, that they're ready for that advanced work. And so they go ahead and do it. Do you let us know what activations you're doing? I don't, because I'm activating everyone simultaneously. So part of the way my quantum divergency works is that my brain, I can fragment portions, I can partition portions. So I can work on, and I think the highest number of people I've worked on simultaneously was something like 300. It was a while ago, but it's something like 300 people simultaneously. So I can partition my consciousness. And although I'm working on 300 people simultaneously, it's the equivalent on me working with you one-on-one. I don't allow anyone's energy to commingle. That's a big no-no. That's a big no-no, right? Never, 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 never. So yeah, some people will go ahead and do that. They'll just purchase the enhanced ticket. They've already done the workshop, and then they do that to just receive the activations that their soul decides is necessary for them. You know, it's one of the ways to be able to get that support that you're wanting and needing. And the cost is, you know, for some it will be an investment, but it's absolutely worth it. The amount you get back from minimal investment, considering what you would pay to get those. Well, I mean, you can't even purchase those activations from me anymore. Um, you can't. I'm no longer doing private sessions unless you have a medical need for my assistance. Those are the only type of private sessions I will accept now. My soul is telling me it's time to begin pivoting in my purpose and my public presence. And so I listen. Okay, I was asking because I didn't get the advance ticket last time. You're welcome, Lisa. Yeah, no, you could absolutely just get the advance ticket specifically. I mean, I would still recommend you go to the workshop just so that you can get a refresher. And oftentimes I add quite a bit of information that I didn't in another workshop. It just depends on what's happening with the collective energy, planetary alignment stuff. Even though I don't track that, the information that I end up sharing, it's extremely robust. We are covering so much information during that entire workshop, and it's done in such a way where you don't even realize how much time you've spent with me. You don't realize how much time has passed. You're like, oh my God, it's been 4 hours already. Yeah, it has. If you can't attend, it's still okay to rewatch also. Yes. So it's recorded. If, say you come in late and you miss the first half, that's okay. It's recorded. You can rewatch it. If you need to leave before it's done, that's okay. You can rewatch it. If you can't attend the whole thing because you got to work that day, that's okay. You can rewatch it and you'll have access to rewatch it for quite some time. Quite some time. So, you know, it's one of those things where, yes, it is best if you're there live so you can ask your questions. You have plenty of opportunity to ask me questions, gain clarity. And then, especially the clinical portion, you be able to do the work with me. And so something that people don't realize when I teach classes, I have the ability to, again, partition my consciousness, and it's like I'm teaching people one-on-one when they're doing the technique. And I can tell you, hey, so and so, you need to push the energy more. Oh, you need to use this pathway. Whoa, so and so, you need to tone it down a little bit. That's too much energy, you're going to get dizzy. And it's this thing where, I can give you explicit instruction, like very, very clear, and you'll be able to know what it feels like running that frequency. And when you know what it feels like and you go to do it on your own, you already have a barometer to use. Is your university for people who only want to help energetically, like energetic medical stuff? Actually, a large portion, like most of my students who have successfully certified, they took the certification program specifically just for their family and self-enrichment. I know it's crazy. I'd be telling them, like, you're certified. You're certified. Take clients. But yeah, it could be used also as like, it can be used also as a tool for life coaching. So in the certification program, I've officially created a module to help people with their ability to provide spiritual coaching for their clients. So the Morphogenetic Fundamentals workshop, that's for people who want to work on themselves, and it's a prerequisite for those who want to invest in creating a spiritual-based business. So I don't give you business advice like, corporate law type stuff. That's not my strong suit, but I do give you the information and how to kind of do things in a way where ethics is always the top priority, your safety, your client's safety. I teach you how to be able to defend your client and yourself through most any circumstance you'll come across at level 1. And then level 2 is something that's even more robust. So yeah, I got to get going, guys. I've been live for a while. Give me 1 second. There's someone being weird. La 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 la. Welcome to the band club. You're about to be banned. All right. Let me first screenshot that. La 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 la. You are now banned. Okay, I gotta go, guys. Please, please, please. I don't remember what I was supposed to say when I end live stream. Do whatever you're gonna do, okay? I hope you sit with me again at some point. Make sure you figure out a way to find me again because I'm shadow banned on all social media. It's true. When I give you guys information like I have today, they're going to restrict my reach even further, which I don't give a shit. Soul said I could share it, so I did. So if you're new to me, find a way to find me again. If it means following me, beautiful. If it means just taking note of my screen name, Emmy Evolving, beautiful as well. If you do choose to follow me, I always, always remind people you are not my follower. Following me on any of my platforms is simply you identifying as a member of my community. And in my community, there is no hierarchy. We are all equals here. We are equally authorized over ourselves and our own journeys. So at no point do you ever identify as my follower because your proper place is beside me on this journey, not behind me. I'm here to help you remember how to think for yourself, not to be your guru, not to be your guide. I'm here to remind you you have a proper place, and that is beside me as my equal.